Joining us now is foreign policy expert Harley Lippman. Harley, are you surprised at the disagreement over this civilian female Israeli hostage?
Not really, because this is really a very, very difficult negotiation. Israel and Hamas are at each other's throats. So even to have any agreement implemented is a near miracle. So no, I'm not surprised. But I think what the American people ought to be mindful of is that Israel is releasing 50 prisoners who were convicted of terrorism for every one Israeli hostage who's innocent is being let go. So we have to always kind of keep that in context. It's not a moral equivalent.
Yeah, so in fact, I think it was just maybe a week and a half ago or so, there was a far-right cabinet member in Netanyahu's administration that resigned over this, said it's a bad deal. Is that how you feel? I mean, obviously we want these hostages to come home, but is this the way to do it?
It's a bad deal, but a necessary deal. It's a necessary deal to get the hostages out. When you think of Israel as to what's the secret sauce, it's the solidarity among its people that they'll leave no man or woman behind. But Israel is paying a terrible, terrible price because by letting out what may be in the end 1,500 terrorists who have been convicted of terrorism, with over 100 of them serving a life prison sentence for murder, the likelihood is that many, if not most, are going to do it again. They've even said it. And what are you going to say to the victims' families when it happens again? What is Israel going to say to them? That's the problem.
Right, and what happens if the fighting just starts again? That's the concern. Do you think what's happening right now is going to derail this already fragile ceasefire?
Yeah, it's very problematic because Israel's goal all along has been to defeat Hamas utterly and completely. And this ceasefire deal contradicts that. So that's why you have two right-wing lawmakers who have a great deal of influence in Israel. So one resigned, the other one said he will resign if Israel doesn't go back to fight Hamas, for the simple reason that you're never going to have closure unless you utterly and completely defeat your enemy. And then you can have, a whole rebuilding of Gaza, and you could help uplift the Palestinian people. But first, Hamas has to be defeated and surrender, and then you can move on.
Well, Netanyahu is thanking President Trump for his support, but Trump is unveiling quite an ambitious plan for rebuilding Gaza on Saturday, saying that more than 1 million Palestinians could relocate from Gaza to Egypt and Jordan. Is this a good plan? Is this a feasible plan?
It is. It is a feasible plan. Why shouldn't the Muslim nations open up their borders to their own people? They have the same religion, same language, same culture. They have land to absorb them. This is what should be done. I'd even urge Turkey and Qatar absorb them because they're the ones that armed and financed and supported Hamas. So they should take on the responsibility. And Pakistan kicked out 1 million Afghanis recently. The whole world has been silent. This just went on in the last few weeks. So it's doable, and it also shows a double standard. Nobody's protesting this on a humanitarian basis or any basis. And yet people are very angry with Trump and Israel to think that they're displacing the Palestinians from their original homes.
Sounds like something we should take a look at. Trump is also saying that he's lifting the Biden administration's hold on 2,000-pound bombs for Israel. Let's listen.
We released them.
Yeah.
We released them today, and they'll have them, and they paid for them, and they've been waiting for them for a long time. They've been in storage.
Thank you, President Trump, for keeping your promise to give Israel the tools it needs to defend itself, to confront our common enemies, and to secure a future of peace and prosperity.
What do you make of this massive development here?
I think it's wonderful. I think this will help end the conflict. Because if the Arab world, and the Palestinians in particular who are fighting Israel, see that there's no daylight between the United States and Israel, then they're more likely to come to terms. If they see this friction between the United States and Israel, then it gives them some hope that if they continue fighting, maybe, just maybe, they'll do better or even win. So I think it's going to promote peace. if the United States and Israel are completely aligned, which is what we're seeing now. So I think it's a very positive and constructive step by the Trump administration, and is far more likely to lead to peace than what was going on during the Biden administration.
Yeah, and I'm just reading here, we don't have time to dig in on it, but the ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah expired today, and there are already reports of violence. Foreign policy expert Harley Lippman, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course.